Legends, welcome to the next episode of the Aussie OCR podcast. We're up to episode 107, and today I'm super excited to be talking to Aussie racer, elite racer Jordi Gunn, who's been ripping up courses all over the country. I've seen her take out the win in True Grit New South Wales very convincingly, also in True Grit Queensland. Just recently she took out the Elite Beast at Spartan Gold Coast, and last weekend hit the UTA 50k trail race, which is savage if anyone knows about it, and finished ninth in her division, the first time in that race, and I think the first time doing a big mountain run as well. So really exciting racer, and I'm keen to learn about what makes her tick today. I'll bring her on screen. Jordi, how are you? It looks like you're muted, but now you're not. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Sweet.
What's going on? Thank you for joining us today. I know you came off a shift this morning.
Yeah, night shift, 4 nights. Yeah, finished at 7:30 in the morning, so I had to sleep today.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate you taking the time to chat to us on a Saturday arvo, and you've got a little bit of time to chill and chat with us today.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kids are out of the house.
Excellent. So I've just got to sort a couple of things out. Bring your name on screen. Just welcome everyone that is joining us live. So, guys, just like Dominica has, who is watching live from my lounge room, if you are watching live and you want to chat to Jordi, give us a comment. If you do log into Ecamm Live, I can see you. I can bring your comments on screen. If you do want to join in with the conversation, please log in. Otherwise, I get anonymous comments. I don't know who the fuck's talking to me, and I don't bring them on screen. So if you guys do want to chat and say hello, definitely log in. Give us a hashtag live if you are
Hey,
on
Dom.
live. And if you are catching a replay later, give us a hashtag replay. And this is an open discussion. I'm going to be asking Jordi some questions, but I'm sure she would love to hear some questions from you as well. So, Jordi, how did you pull up after UTA?
Yeah, pretty stiff. You mentioned that it was my first ultra, and it was. I'd done one marathon in the past down at Shell Harbour.
Yeah.
And then I just randomly signed up for the 50k. I actually signed up for the Kosciuszko one weeks after that too. So thought I'd give it a crack. Standing at the start line, I didn't really know what I was getting myself in for, and I was all rugged up, and I immediately regretted that after like 1k. So I had to strip down, stop, and take everything off. But yeah, it was really good. Like there was probably slightly more road than what there would normally be just due to all of the weather and everything like that. But after about 9k's, it was mainly trail and track. Yeah, it was really good, really fun.
I did hear they modified the course a little bit. There was a few grumbles about that. There's a little bit more road than what there usually would be.
Yeah.
Which would have made a few people happy and made a few people very unhappy. Which is the
Yeah, I think that was definitely evident in the 22. I think the 22 ended up being only about 18, and it was like predominantly road. So the boys were very quick on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is interesting. I mean, I know that the UTA, they had rescheduled that event. At least, well, one time they rescheduled it. I think due to or COVID. I'm not sure. So yeah, it's always tough when they have to make decisions like that, especially when it's weather. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, well, they had those people die up in the mountains not long ago. So yeah, safety was massive. Like our kit got checked, all our mandatory gear. Yeah, safety was like probably their number one thing from what I could see.
And it should be. There's
Yeah,
some sketchy fucking trails up in those mountains. You're running off
for
the edge of
sure.
cliffs, and gets windy, and it's
Yeah.
it's pretty dodgy. Was it pissing down while you guys were running?
No, it didn't rain while I ran. I think it rained the night before, like over the night, and it was very windy at times, but it didn't rain.
Yeah, cool. Couple more guys jumping on. Monique Macrina, OMR coach, is joining us from Sydney. Matty Day is joining us from Brisbane. He's been up at the 42 for 42 event. I'm pretty sure, well, I am sure he sent me a video of him doing burpee broadside jumps the whole length of Suncorp Stadium a few hours ago. They do actually, you'd like this, Jordy, with what you do for a job, but they do an event called 42 for 42, and it's to honour, I think, I'm probably going to fuck this up, but it's for the 41 veterans, I think, that have died in Afghanistan or Iraq, 41 Aussie veterans. So they do
Okay.
this 42 hours for 42, and the idea is the 41 plus the 42 is for all the veterans who have come home. And basically, they just carry really heavy shit around Suncorp Stadium for 42 hours straight. And
Nice. Sounds like fun.
yeah, people relay it. I was there. I was there last year, and unfortunately, I couldn't make it this year. But yeah, Matty Day was there supporting it. He actually sent me a message. He said he was really looking forward to the chat today because he
Oh,
got to.
nice.
I think he placed fifth in the Elite Beast for the men, so he got to witness quite a bit of your race. He said you guys were just
Yeah.
for a bit and sort of leapfrogging, and then I think you just passed him. So he said the bits that he saw. He said you're a hell of a competitor, and he was very entertained by watching you race with the girls.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's it.
He's a good dude. Donna's here as well. Hey Donna, for some reason your details are out of Ecamm. I know you logged in last week when I was chatting to Mick. But yeah, so the body pulled up not too bad after UTA.
Yeah, a couple of days. Yeah.
And you were back.
I I actually had a procedure booked in on Monday where I had to prep for the procedure. I won't go into detail, but I couldn't reschedule it, and it was very taxing on the body. I was very dehydrated, so bad timing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's never good timing when you do as much savage shit as you do. It's always going to clash with.
No, yeah,
Uh,
always something.
but it was all good. It was all sorted.
Yeah, all
Cool.
good. Yeah, I really enjoyed the weekend. I'm really keen for the Kosciuszko one. Should be awesome.
Fuck yeah. Is that the? I was talking to a ultra runner at Parkrun this morning about this. Is this the crazy 241 or is this a miler?
No, this is 50. You can do 100 miler or 100K there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any 22 from my understanding. Maybe there is. I'm not sure. But yeah, it goes from Friday Flats up like to Kosciuszko, and then it finishes at, I think it's pronounced Bullock Flats or something like that
Oh,
in Thredbo.
yeah.
Yeah. So quite a
Yeah.
bit of elevation, more so than the Blue Mountains one. Yeah.
Nice. How do you go
Yeah.
up it? Are you a fan of running up hills?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Like I feel like on race time I got like a blackout switch
Yeah.
and I can just go for it. So yeah,
Yeah. Cool.
fly down the hills when you can, and yeah.
I do love running down hills. I'm not a fan of running up them, but I'm much more suited to carrying heavy shit all day. That sort of
Yeah,
suits
fair
my frame
enough.
a bit better. But speaking about you being a competitor and sending it up hills and stuff, I did want to bring up the finish video of you at UTA.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Just to give guys an idea of what you like on course and how competitive you are, because it's pretty awesome to see. Let's try and bring this on screen. I don't know why I don't have any audio on this.
He's coming. But he's coming.
Here we go. Good one, Madison.
Now that's how you finish a 50k race. Obviously, still with some steam in the tank.
Yeah.
Jordy, how the hell did you become this competitive? Because it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing to see.
I have no idea. I'm an only child, so I can't even blame it on my childhood. Um, I don't know. It's just fun. Like, I just want to push myself. Um, I think I got a bit of a taste for it. Like I did True Grit a few months after my daughter was born. So my daughter's 2.5. I did True Grit at the start of last year,
Mhm.
and I just won that out of nowhere, and I had no expectations of winning. And to be honest, I had a bit of like, I don't know what they call it, like when you convince yourself that you're not really that good and it must have just happened
Yeah,
out
impossible.
of luck or for COVID. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I sort of like at the time I was like, must just be because COVID, nobody's come out, whatever. Like,
Hmm.
but I really like the feeling of winning.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might try a couple of other things, do a couple of other comps, not just running or racing, but like fitness wise too. And I seem to win a lot. So I have to kind of convince myself that whatever I'm doing is actually legit. And yeah, I work really hard. So
Yeah,
it's really nice to put in all that effort and then see it pay off in the end.
for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I always see you getting after it on your Instagram, on your socials. You're always training. You're always going hard. And as I said, I've had the pleasure of watching you race a couple of times now. Um, I think I was filming you coming over the finish line in True Grit, New South Wales, which was before the enduro. Um,
Yeah.
so True Grit New South Wales, the elite wave, I believe, runs at 8:30 in the morning on the Saturday, and then we all towed the start line at 2 p.m. to then run a 24-hour race. So not
Yeah.
only did you fucking convincingly win that elite wave, you know, you could have walked the last bit easily. So you demolished the field there, but you then backed it up with I think 5 laps at enduro,
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was 5 laps.
and that was
Yeah. It was
your
like
first.
70 Ks in total or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was your first enduro, and
Yeah.
so you've done a full race that morning, probably on not much sleep, and then
Yeah, it was tough to set up the tent after that and then try and get like an hour sleep in the sun. It was just not the best.
look, I've done enduro for years now, and I fucking love that. I love that event, and unfortunately, I'm sure
Yeah,
you heard they've put it on hold now for the foreseeable future until the numbers can come back up. Um,
yeah,
but packing up the fucking tents, oh my god, it's the
yeah,
worst part of the whole
yeah,
thing, because you just spent and you're shredded, and then you have to like sort your head out and clean things and pack it all into a car and play Tetris, and it's it's the worst part
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Try doing it with a 2-year-old.
Yeah, well, Dom has to do it with me, and I'm basically a 2-year-old, so
Fair enough.
um, no. But it was cool, and it was cool. I think that was where I first really had a chat to you. We did spend maybe half a lap, where I was sort of keeping up with you until I said you go run. But that was where I really got to have a chat and get to know you, and yeah, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on for a chat, so other people could get to know you, because you're doing some pretty exciting stuff in the space. What's your background with fitness? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you end up here?
Um, Kind of like all over the shop, like nothing like really too, how people do like a certain sport in high school or whatever, nothing like that. I think I've just kind of always been a bit active. I've been in the army for nearly 10 years. So of course you have to maintain a certain level of fitness with that.
Sure.
Grew up at the beach in Bondi, so it was always like surfing and skating and outdoors and stuff.
Nice.
Um, it wasn't really until after I had Bowie that I kind of like ramped my training up, so to speak. Um, and I kind of met a bunch of really cool people at the gym, and just naturally kind of fell into this pattern of learning more, doing more, just really enjoying the process of
Mhm.
getting faster, getting stronger, um, becoming more dynamic, like learning about nutrition and yeah, so it's sort of been a bit of an ongoing journey, but over the last like couple of years, more so than any point in my life up until this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what attracted you to the Defence Force?
I was 20, I think 20 when I applied. I didn't finish school. I had done my year 10 at TAFE. And I moved out when I was 15. And I had been working at like a health club for about 4 years, like doing lifeguarding, duty managing, stuff like that. And I wasn't really going anywhere. So I went for like a U session and I had a list of jobs that I could apply for.
Yep.
And one of those jobs was a medic, and I was really interested in the medical area. So I applied for that. Took about a year after I was accepted to actually get into that job.
Yep.
So that's like enrolled nurse paramedic. And yeah, I did that for about 5 or 6 years and then transferred over to a nursing officer still within the army in 2018.
Yeah, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you lean into? I know the defense is, they do all sorts of competitive shit. There's all sorts of like sports and stuff that they play, and Army versus Air Force and different stuff that they do. Do you lean into
Yeah.
competitiveness in the defense force itself?
So I will when I go back, but for the last so I had my daughter, so I had a year off mat leave, and
Mm.
for the last year and a half, I've been working in an emergency department.
Mhm.
So although I'm in the army, I've kind of been like a civvy
Sure.
for the last year and a half, and my exposure to the army has been very limited. So
Sure.
I haven't really been involved in any of that stuff, but in December, I'll post and I go to Brisbane. I'll go back to a unit and be doing, yeah, all of the normal stuff, and I'll hopefully get my teeth sunk into some competitive things that they got going on. That
Yeah.
they're very heavy in, like, I think like team sports, so
Mhm.
like footy, AFL, stuff like that. But very supportive of fitness all round. So
Yeah.
if you've got comps on or training for specific things, they're very in your corner in terms of supporting your fitness and um, like competition goals and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it inspires people. It inspires people within defence, and I mean, it inspires people who aren't in defence to maybe join. When you see people like that, I know the world champion for Spartan many years in a row. His name's escaping me. I should fucking know it, but he's defence, and I think they even sponsor him to race. Somebody will tell me in the comments what his name is. He was like the original best guy for years, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But he does all like the tactical games and stuff like that, and I think they sort
Yeah.
of
Cool.
with that type of stuff as well. So was that sort of business as usual, um, getting posted in a hospital, or was that more COVID crisis? They needed bums in seats.
No, it wasn't COVID related. I had to do some on the job stuff, which was only meant to last 6 months. And I had some personal stuff happen where I asked to be extended in location
Yeah,
for about 12 months.
cool.
So I was meant to leave mid last year, but I got extended out until the end of this year.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, yeah.
Cheers, everyone, letting me know it was Robert Killian. Everyone, all the people. Um, yeah. Okay. Cool. So now you're coming up to Brisbane in December, which is
Yeah,
fucking awesome because I'm on the
yeah.
Gold Coast and I got lots of shit you can do. You can come play with.
Yeah, I'm very excited. A lot of like mates and connections, and especially in like the fitness and sporting sphere, are all up in Brizzy and the Gold Coast. So I'm super keen to get up there and not have to pay for flights and accommodation every time I got to do something.
Yeah, cool. It seems like we've got the most stuff going on up here. I mean, we had the
Yeah,
lightest the lightest COVID regulations in the country, so a lot of our stuff was able to continue. While Sydney and Melbourne were all shut down. So I think the
yeah,
the event organisers just you know have maybe a few more resources available to them because they didn't take as many hits to their income and the community was kept engaged. Whereas now,
yeah,
in other areas, you're having to reinvigorate people into the idea of coming to events, and it's fucking weird because you're in a situation where people are like itching to do stuff, but people aren't signing up for stuff, and it's really odd. Like everyone's sort of waiting to the last minute. It's
yeah.
quite interesting. But Corey's just saying that he's going to catch a replay later. Um, we do have a couple of comments coming in from Dominica, who could probably just come in here and ask, but saying, Jordi, what does an average day training working kids look like for you?
It depends on the day. It depends if I'm working or not. If I'm working, I can be on like a morning shift, an afternoon shift, or a night shift, and I will plan sort of my training around that. And obviously the kids too. My partner doesn't work, so he's a stay-at-home dad and is
Awesome.
super supportive and helps out with most of the kids' stuff so that I'm able to focus on going to work and fitting training into, and like he's
Okay.
taking the kids out of the house for me to do this chat now. Um, so if I work a morning, I'll try and get in the gym before work and
Yeah.
perhaps do something light in the arvo. If it's an arvo, I'll sleep in and do something before my shift. On a night shift, I'll wake up in the arvo and do something in the arvo. But if it's a day off, the training load is way heavier.
Yeah.
So like I'll potentially wake up, train in the morning, eat, maybe I'll train at lunch and the afternoon, or just bookend the day. But I could be doing like 4 hours of training on a day off from work.
Wow.
Yeah, and like when I'm not working, obviously I fit in all of the family stuff too, like get the kids to the park, go to the pool, whatever. But I also integrate them into my training. Like I'll take them to the track, I'll take them to the pool. Hendrix comes to CrossFit sometimes,
Okay.
and they love it. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Obviously you're a really good all rounder, which is why you're winning Spartan races and obstacle races. Is there a certain style of training that you do, or a certain thing that you focus on? Like, is there anything weird or unusual that you do in your training?
my training's always evolving. Like I have a certain structure in my head of keeping everything balanced, I suppose. Like I like to balance my weight training equally with like running or cardio training, so I'm not like too heavy or losing too much muscle, or I just try and keep everything balanced. Um, with starting CrossFit not too long ago, several like few months ago, there's skills obviously in that that are very new and foreign to me.
Yeah.
And I've had to adapt to what I know, because defense is very like strict in terms of movements. You do strict pull-ups, like everything is strict. There's no like kipping or anything like that. There's no gymnastics or whatever. So I've been learning all these new little skills recently. But overall, um, I will try and do some weights in a day, some running or cardio in a day, so my day's balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
What's the hardest part of say doing a Spartan race, a Spartan Beast? Are there any weaknesses that you maybe need to work on?
Probably the build up and like my head,
Oh yeah.
because yeah, like I get nervous.
Yeah.
I convince myself maybe that it's not going to go well. I have a bit of like head noise sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if there's a long build up. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well, and I think sometimes that can be detrimental
Yeah.
if I just like chilled out a little bit. Because I like coming into this Spartan race, this most recent one, I had shin splints, which I got from a trail race a few weeks prior. I did a 24K trail in Sydney, and I smashed my leg on a rock, and I just had the worst shin pain. Like, and I went into the Spartan race feeling like not 100%, and I was like, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna chill out. Um, whilst obviously once I got in there, I still had that competitive sort of drive,
Yeah.
but leading up, there was less pressure and I felt a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the trick to it. If you can,
Yeah.
you can just stay calm, and then once shit starts, you're like your competitiveness will kick in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I race way better than I train. So like
Yeah.
I'll train with guys and they'll whoop my ass in training, and then come race day I'll just jog past them halfway in the race,
Yeah.
like a switch gets flicked. But if you can stay out of your head, that's the biggest part, and that's something I chat with a lot of my clients about. Do you read much? Are you like
No.
a reader? Audio?
I have no time.
Yeah. Do you do audiobooks at all? I find you can
No.
do those when you drive. I'm gonna recommend some.
Oh,
Go for it.
I have listened to a few podcasts. I've listened to this podcast called How They Train.
Yeah.
And it's mainly like triathletes and that sort of space, but it's just interesting chat between yeah, people that like a heavy load training and kind of what they've learnt and a little bit of insight here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. When we jump off, I'll recommend a book. Actually, we'll talk about it now, even though I've chatted about it plenty of times while chatting to people. There's a really good fucking book called How Bad Do You Want It? Written by a guy called Matt Fitzgerald. Matt's a ultra endurance coach. He's written things like the 80-20 triathlon. Um, Written a couple of really good books. He's a sports commentator, sports journalist. Anyway, so he wrote this book, How Bad Do You Want It? And it's sort of like a series of short biographies, like sports biographies, where they'll look at one athlete who's struggling with a certain thing for a certain reason. So it might be imposter syndrome, or not feeling like they're good enough, or pre-race nerves, or an injury that they've had to overcome. And it's sort of written like a series of short stories that they go over like what they're dealing with, all the sports psychology and actual the science behind it, and then how they overcame it, and then the triumphant fucking race where they won or whatever it was. And it's a really, really entertaining book. It's an entertaining read, and it's something that I've gotten a lot of people to read over the years. A lot of my guys that are more at the pointy end, competitive wise, and
Yeah.
helped them with like pre-race nerves. So
Yeah, cool.
send it your way. But
For sure.
like now that you've done obviously a heap of different things and getting into CrossFit, you've done a bit of OCR, done a bit of road running. Where do you find your interests being pulled the strongest? Is there?
I wish that I could say somewhere so that I could just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And but I think the thing that keeps me moving is that everything's different and I'm not bored.
Yeah.
I'm not just running every day. I'm not just pounding the pavement. I'm not just lifting weights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally my training every day is different. So I think I'm just gonna keep chipping away at all the little things that I'm doing and yeah, just while I enjoy it, because
Yeah.
I just want to keep enjoying it. Mm.
Yeah. Cool. What's the best part of racing?
Uh, my first immediate thought was like winning.
Fine. That's valid.
But no, it's everything from start to end. It's everything that you did in prep, getting up to that point. It's meeting all of new people, standing at the start line, grinding it out through the middle, coming over the finish line. Like there's no one particular thing. Um, yeah, yeah,
You've raced over a couple of different distances now.
yeah.
Do you have a favourite distance? Is there one that you prefer?
I probably say like about 10Ks.
Okay.
That's what I train for anyway. Like my running program is designed for 10K distance.
Okay.
And I feel pretty comfortable around that mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They're the races that I've seen you really dominate, like the true grits. They're the ones that I've seen you go really hard. Because I know you did win the Beast, but not quite as convincingly as
yeah,
the others.
yeah,
But obviously going against some people who've been running these Beasts for a long time, and
yeah. And I feel like given if I gave it a bit more time on the obstacles because I have done some obstacle training, obviously,
Hmm.
um, but not as much as I'd like to have.
Yeah.
And that's just due to time and location. Like the closest obstacle course training facility is like an hour and a half from me.
Is that a
Um, Burns.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Um, and I've been out there a couple of times,
mhm.
but it's just not enough.
Yeah,
And if I just gave that a little bit more time, I think that would really help me. And I'm going to for sure.
mm,
But that's probably an area of weakness for me.
sure.
Some obstacles, some are very second nature to me because of defense.
Yeah.
Ropes, transverse ropes,
Mhm.
cargo nets,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Um, like stuff with mud, no problem.
Yeah.
But like twisters
Yeah.
and more specific stuff, I just haven't had the exposure. So, yeah,
There's a couple of good facilities around Brisbane. Um, there's a few around. I know we've spoken about the boot camps I run out of Raw Challenge Gold Coast. We do I do stuff down there all the time. There's plenty of obstacles to play on there, so I'm
yeah,
keen to have you up here for sure. Um,
yeah,
we might have sort of just covered this, but Scotty Shepherd, who is the, if you don't know him, is the photographer for Spartan. So he's the one who gets
yes.
all of our photos, and all of his photographers sort them out. So Jordi, Mount Ball Ball looks like a fabulous, rather, new venue for February. Will you be running the Ultra or racing the Beast? Keen to hear your goals for that event.
I haven't committed to either of them. Because I'm posting, I won't get into my new unit until like 20 something of January. And I can't apply for leave or know what my calendar is going to look like until I get to my unit. And I could very well be somewhere else in Australia doing some kind of training. Lost my earphone. So as soon as I get there and I can see my calendar, I can sort of start to plan things a little better. Um, Ultra or Beast, probably Beast. If I can get there. Hopefully I can.
Cool, cool, cool. There has been a few comments rolling in, so I'm just going to have a look over here and see what I've got. Matty Lawrence is here. Matty Probes, rather. Here we go. Matty Probes asking, what's your favourite obstacle? What's your least favourite obstacle, Jordy?
I'll just start with least because it was the only one that I fell off, and that was the Twister. Um,
While you answer that, I'm just gonna film a quick story and chuck it up and tag you, just so people jump on the chat. But you
no
go.
worries. Yeah, so least favorite would be Twister. And you know what? Like it'll probably become my favorite into the future once I master it. That sort of tends to happen. I hated rowing, so I bought a rower. And now I love it. So that's sort of the outlook there. Make your weaknesses your strengths.
It's a good attitude.
And favorite. I think the heavy jerry can was pretty good for me. And any sort of movement carrying a heavy weight, so like the Atlas ball,
Mm-hmm.
straight up on the shoulder, no problem.
Yeah.
I sort of excel in those areas. So yeah, love those ones.
That heavy jerry can carry was rough at Gold Coast, and they made
Yeah,
they made the girls take two, which is unusual. Um,
yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about the sport is, everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, and you really see when you just throw everyone at a course, those things sort themselves out. So, like, I know I hear that you sort of went tit for tat with the girls on course, or at least
yeah,
was behind you. So you may have blown past them in that obstacle, and then they rounded you up on something else. Did you fail any obstacles?
yeah. The twister.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So um, who all three of us failed one thing. Two of us failed the twister, and one failed the spear.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, it was pretty even in that way. We
Yeah.
all did the same amount of burpees.
Who came over the line second? Was it Monica Holmwood?
It was Monica. Yeah, yeah,
Do you
Mon.
know who came third? Dana, maybe?
Yeah, no. Um,
Sorry, Holly.
yes,
Holly.
Holly.
She's
So I
a
was
she's
having a
a
mental blank then.
I've been having them all fucking day. She's a local girl, local Kiwi girl. She's lovely.
Yeah, she's so nice, so nice.
Yeah. She did pretty well over that weekend too. I think she picked up 3 podiums.
Yeah, very, very consistent
Yeah, which is
weekend.
really good
Yeah,
to see.
yeah,
Was it close between you 3 girls?
yeah. It was a 1, 2, 3 race for most of the time up until the last maybe 2 to 3 Ks.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You've raced a couple of different codes now as well. What's been your favorite event?
Are you talking like Spartan versus
True
True Grit?
Grit. They're very
I
different
think,
in their
yeah,
vibe and their feel.
I think my heart lies with True Grit.
Yeah.
Just because that's sort of my first one. They've
Always remember your first
also
time.
been more yeah, more interactive with me, just on a more personal level. Sorry, I'm a bit pixelated. I don't know
No,
if
that's
you're
okay. I
pixelated too.
think I think we just had a little bit of a drop off with the
Yeah.
I think we're back.
Cool. Yeah. And also too, just given my background, the obstacles are more what I'm familiar with.
Military inspired, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I probably agree. I actually thought your answer would be different because Spartan is a lot more competitive and timed and stuff like that. But yeah, I do from like a course perspective. I'd say that course down in Sydney is probably my favourite course of all time. The
Yeah.
course it's got a little bit of everything. It's got just enough hills and
Yeah.
cold fucking dam
Yeah.
to go through. It's good.
Yeah.
What's
That's the worst.
what's next for you? I know you were saying the Kosciuszko run. Is that the next event you have planned?
No. So I've got the Bay Games next weekend in Jervis Bay.
Oh, cool.
So I'm doing a pair. It's like fitness, CrossFit,
Mm-hmm. Like
hybrid.
fitness type games type thing.
What was that?
Was that like a functional fitness type games?
Yeah. 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 So I'm doing a paired comp the Saturday night,
Yep.
which is 3 events.
Cool.
And then Sunday morning, I'm doing a team event, a team of 4, from like 6 a.m. till lunchtime.
Yeah.
I think
Awesome.
there's like 6 events or 7 events.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Going back to your prep for events, one of the questions that I did get asked to ask you today was what do you eat? What do you eat in the lead up to events? I mean, let's ask 2 different questions. What do you eat in general? And then what does your race nutrition look like?
Okay. So generally, I'm very healthy.
Mhm.
I definitely love sweets and treats, but it's very
Cookies, I
balanced.
hear.
Yes, cookies and donuts. In fact, I've ordered some donuts to pick up tomorrow.
Excellent.
But yeah, so I track everything that I eat. Some people find that effective, some people can just intuitively eat. I personally just like to know that I'm getting enough calories to sustain the amount of exercise that I'm doing,
Yep.
and to fuel my body. I also like to meet a certain amount of grams of protein, like a good split of my macros, for fuel and muscle growth and everything like that.
Yep.
So I track everything. I eat meat, vegetables, carbs, everything. I don't have any allergies or whatever. So just try and eat meat or a protein source in every meal. Pretty much just water and coffee. A lot of coffee.
Me too.
Yeah.
um, Yeah. Yeah, I've coffee issues.
Yeah. Only the best do. Um,
What's
and
sorry.
yeah, pre-race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I non-intentionally tend to pig out a little bit the day before. I'm like, must carb load. And I just order like pizza or something like that, or like pasta the night before.
Yeah.
I definitely overate before the 50K. I was feeling very sluggish in the
Yeah.
morning. And in the morning of a race, I tend to just have oats and a coffee. Um, when I travel, I just bring those little quick sachets. So, like if I'm in a
Mhm.
hotel, I can just pour some boiling water in there. I have a coffee and sometimes just eat that out of like the mugs that they have in the hotel room.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
What about like while you're on the course? Like what are you eating while you're running the beast or say 50K UTA?
Yeah, so the gels was all that I ate in the beast in terms of like calories.
Is there a
Water,
brand?
obviously. Um, there is, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. Is it rattle some off?
Cliff, Goo,
Nah, goo.
Science in Sport are what I do at the moment. I find them
I think
really
it's goo.
isotonic. They're really good, the Science
Yeah,
in Sport ones. They're not that like gooey stuff that gets like,
yeah.
yeah.
Also, the chews are pretty good. I like.
The Goo
Is
Chews?
it Cliff? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
The Cliff blocks are amazing.
Yeah, there's like a margarita one that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I had a random concoction of stuff that I packed for the 50K. I had like um what are they? Red frogs, the goo things, like some liquid cows,
Yeah.
some cookies, nuts. Yeah, just random stuff because I knew I wasn't going to be going so super fast that I couldn't eat like normal food.
hmm
So I tried to mix it up with like liquid and solid food.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've always found that for me as well. I can do maybe 6, maybe 8 hours on like gels and blocks. And then after that, my stomach just starts doing fucking backflips, and I need a bar or just something tangible
Yeah,
to eat.
yeah,
uh,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah,
baby food or something.
yeah.
Peanut butter and jam sandwiches are good.
Mm.
Um,
Like for the enduro, I packed Krispy Kreme donuts, peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
amazing, amazing. Enduros are just fucking eating competitions, really. It's just how much
Yeah,
calories can you get in without upsetting your running, so that you can keep running.
yeah, yeah,
The best advice I had for like, I think I turned up to my first enduro with absolutely no idea what I was doing, and I turned up with 10 gels, and I was like a last minute sign up, but I think I died about 12 hours into that event. But somebody said to me, just next time, just bring everything, just bring chips, bring nuts, bring chocolate, bring fucking bread, just bring everything because you don't know what you'll crave.
yeah,
And like with
yeah.
nuts, you're just like, oh, I feel like this. I feel like red frogs. And sometimes you have the red frogs and you're like, I can't eat another fucking red frog. Like you got to have you get like flavor fatigue.
I got up to the transverse ropes on the enduro,
Yeah,
and there was a guy there with red frogs,
yeah.
and I was like covered in mud, and he was like, "Do you want a red frog?" And I was like, "Yes." But I was like so covered in mud and tired, and I just opened my mouth, and he like put it in for me, and I was like, "Thank you."
I'm trying to think who was there. It'll come to me who that volley was because I was chatting to him as well.
It was an older guy.
Might have been Dennis. Might have been. I did see him kicking around, but yeah, Enduro's mad. There's usually a long time volley who was always at the PDAN, called Linda Dent, who always had frogs. So like every race, every
Yeah.
time you'd go around, you'd grab some frogs. Um, yeah, you know why we call it the PDAM, right?
Well, I can imagine.
Did you have to like go around anyone who just mysteriously stopped in the middle?
No.
It happens.
I was by myself a lot. Like I was very, very lonely
You know what?
on that course.
it was quiet. Like it was a lot quieter than it has been, and that's obviously why
Yeah.
they had to put a stop to the event because the numbers weren't there. But usually there's so many more people that like you're just passing people or people are passing you, but there's just so much traffic, and it's
Yeah.
a different vibe. But
Yeah.
so Adrian Mannix, who is no stranger to ultras, giving you some high fives, some claps. Matty Probes saying he missed the start of the chat. Yes, Geordie's in the military. What's training for that like? Is there like specific training that you do consistently in there, or is there just an assessment each year or something like that?
Yeah, like you have to maintain a level of fitness. You have a basic fitness assessment, which consists of a 2.4 kilometer run, push-ups, and sit-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a standard for males, females, and each age group.
Cool.
Um, and there's also something called the PESA, which is the military sort of army side of it, which is like a weight-loaded walk, fire and movement, box lift and carry, of box lift in place. Yeah, so there are fitness standards that you
Mm-hmm.
have to maintain. In my opinion, they're basic fitness
Yeah.
standards. Um, so yeah, but every core and every unit is different
Yeah.
in terms of what their training will look like and what they expect and
Mm-hmm.
what their day looks like. Infantry will be a lot different to ordnance or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Cool. And let us know if we do have any other questions rolling in, guys. I think that's all I can see on my screen at the moment. But do you have any plans to keep upping the ante with your running now that you've done a 50k? Are you going to do 100k?
I never say never. I just know how I felt after the 50 and I'm like times that by two.
It's not.
Like of
It's not even
course.
times by two. It's like times by 8.
Yeah, I know a girl that did the 100K on the same day. She seemed to pull up all right. I feel like we're pretty similar in terms of body composition, maybe. But yeah, I probably will. I probably will.
Yeah,
Like, I want to do all of the things. So, yeah,
I can relate.
yeah.
Have you got any plans to go further with obstacle racing? Have you looked at anything overseas or played with the idea?
Yeah, well, we spoke briefly about the Thailand
Mm.
trip. Obviously, I couldn't make that work because of my work
Mm-hmm.
commitments and stuff. But as my roster becomes more predictable when I go back to defense, I'll definitely look at heading overseas and trying some stuff out. This is an obstacle course, but there's this competition called High Rocks. I don't
Yep.
know if you've heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
One of the
I
guys who
feel,
one of the guys who used to be big in Australian OCR, Chris Worley. He's a
yeah,
local Aussie
I know
guy.
him.
He's done pretty well in High Rocks. He's been focusing on that and the stadiums. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're looking at that?
Yeah, I actually didn't know about it until like a few weeks ago. Somebody brought it up with me, and yeah, I looked into it and I was like, wow, like this is like seems to be in my lane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to give that a crack, but I can't commit to going overseas until I'm posted. So,
Sure.
um, yeah, so I'll just keep chipping away at what I'm doing, and yeah,
Yeah, there's a couple of cool guys into High Rocks. I was chatting with a European guy over in Chiang Mai when I was there racing a couple of months ago, and I think he might have placed like third High Rocks at the World Champs or the European Champs or something.
yeah,
He was a pretty fucking handy racer. But
yeah.
Hunter, do you follow Hunter McIntyre on Insta?
I don't doesn't ring a bell.
He's a bit of a lunatic from the States, but he's a big High Rocks guy as well. He's
Yeah,
planning follow on social media as well. But yeah, that I think that would definitely suit you as far as your skill set and where your strengths and weaknesses are for sure.
yeah, yeah. So I just want to keep it interesting too. So if I can like jump overseas for a couple of like OCRs, potentially get over for a high rocks. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, Melissa Pittman saying, "Do you think Hyrox will ever make it to Oz?" I mean, maybe. Australia's interesting in that we have challenges that they don't have overseas because we're a big fucking island that's not the easiest to get around. We don't have the infrastructure and the logistics capabilities that say they do in the States. And we just don't have the population density. And we all, Aussies do a bit of fucking everything, and we're sort of good at a bit of everything. When you think about how many people we have in the country, like you look at 25 million people in Australia, and we will, we're a chance at podiuming lots of events in the Olympics, and we're pretty competitive on the world stage in a lot of things. You look at a country like India, that's basically big in a couple of things like cricket and wrestling, and China dominates a couple of things as well, although they're diversifying more. But they obviously have these massive populations, and like the US has 330 million. So in the US you have the Spartan Stadium series, which is just the races in the stadiums, and they have enough people signing up to just those that they can have a yearly competition. I think they have 10 or 11 stadium events, and there's guys who are just pro athletes in stadium. Like here, we can't even get the numbers to get one stadium. So it's that's the issue from a standpoint. I don't think people don't want to do it. I think you need to, like, to bring a production like that over. It's tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it here, and you need to get enough bums in seats and enough competitors to make it financially viable. And that's the problem that we have in Australia, is getting enough people to buy in and drop whatever it is that they're doing and come and do this thing instead,
Yeah.
So never say never. It looks like a pretty cool thing, and if it grows, it'll get here. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and I see this in a lot of critique of all racing codes in Australia, and people will critique certain things that they do and how they do it, and there are those difficulties that I mentioned. That doesn't always mean that they're being handled the best, but there are difficulties for sure. What do you think, Jordi?
I would hope that it would come here. I mean, all that we can do is give it momentum and like show interest
For
and
sure.
get over there if we can. And yeah, I think it's got a pretty big following already, and it seems to have quite a bit of momentum. So, like, yeah, I don't see why it can't in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take that interest, I suppose.
For sure. I'd like to see it. Anyone who wants that type of thing, the best way to do it is to go and follow those social media accounts, engage with those accounts. When Hyrox are posting things, comment, "Hey guys, bring it to Australia, bring it to Australia." Like, if there's enough people commenting that you want to get an event over here, then they'll look at it and explore it. For anyone who doesn't know, and I'm not 100% certain if Hyrox is always the same, but it's a 8 1K loops with different sort of obstacles or set exercises that you have to do in between the 1K loops. So it's,
Yeah,
say, a 1K run and then a 200-meter sled push or whatever it is, and then a 1K run and then a certain amount of burpees with a fucking weight or something. Is that
yeah,
correct? Is it
yeah,
always
yeah.
the same, Geordie, or does it change
I
it?
believe it is. I believe it's always 8. Because there's a standard. I think if they change that, there wouldn't be like PBs that are being, or like times that are being beaten. So yeah, I think it's 8, and they are then broken up into different exercises, whether it's like 80 wall balls or
Yeah.
something after the first lap, and then like 1K row or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's generally sort of the same vibe of exercises, and I believe it's always the same distance.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the structure is always the same. I just don't know whether the sled push is always the same or the wall balls are always.
No, I think they changed that.
Yeah. The other
I
one
feel
that I
like it would be
think
boring if they didn't.
I agree. The other one I think is that is a genuine chance of coming over is Deca, and Deca Fit is a race. event that was started by Yancey Culp, who's a big OCR coach over in the US. Yancey runs Yancey Camp. He trains a heap of the elite guys, and people can train under them, and they basically get the programs that the elites get. Anyway, he started this this Deca Fit, and it's a similar type idea to Hyrox. I don't know what the exact formula is for it, but I know Deca is starting to spread. I was actually talking to a guy, Carter, at Chiang Mai, who is starting Deca in Malaysia. So he's starting it over there, and I think they're doing their first event. Might be start of November, maybe in a week or two. They're doing the first Deca. So hopefully we'll get something like that there. But that's basically like sort of like a mix between, say, a Spartan race and a functional fitness games type idea, which is
cool.
And that might be something that works better for us as far as insurance, being able to get venues. It may be an event that is more sustainable long term in Australia than, say, a Spartan race where we need to find mountains to fucking run up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like anything indoors is obviously always going to be easier to, plan and whatever than something that's dependent on weather and terrain and
Yeah. I think there'll always be a hunger for the outdoor stuff, though. There's nothing quite like running up mountains. Dominique is saying BTU 100 next year. So if you know about this one, we're just trying to pressure you into shit, Jordi. If you know about
you're trying to break me.
yeah. I want you to win stuff, not break you. But BTU, the Brisbane Trail Ultra, is a pretty cool local event. They actually their 30K race, because they do all sorts of different events. So they do a 10, a 20, a 30, a 50, a 60, I think, which is weird. A 110, and I think they do a miler as well. The 30K is actually part of the Spartan Trail series for the international Spartan Trail events. So the 30K is a really cool run. You start up at the big mountain in Brisbane that I can't remember what it's called because my brain's broken today. But you start at this big mountain and sort of circle around and then run down, and then about the last 10K of it's on road, and you finish at Kangaroo Point, which is beautiful. It's a really, really nice event.
Yeah, nice.
I'd look at that for sure. When's that on, Dom? Is it about June? I don't know. I don't even know if she's there. Just shouting.
Yeah, I totally am up for whatever. Like,
I get that vibe.
the only issue is that I'm like, I don't know if I need to adjust my training to prepare for something like that though, because I literally only do about 30Ks a week. So like even going into the 50K, I was like already out of my depth. Like my Garmin said I had 1% stamina left after 25Ks.
Jesus.
So yeah, I was just grinding out nothing.
Is that why you just turn your watch off? Go, not today, Garmin.
Oh, I ignore. No, I only look at that stuff after.
Yeah.
But
I like it.
might need to do a couple more steps before that, I think.
Yeah. I like it like when I'm about to start a beast or an ultra or something, and you go to start the workout and Spartan goes, you should rest today. And you're like, fuck off, Garmin.
Yeah, that's literally my watch every day. It's like you have high recovery needs, and I'm like, no shit.
Yeah. Wendy's saying so many obstacles in the US and Europe that we just don't see here. So doing some overseas races are a wonderful experience. Yeah, it really is. Racing overseas is amazing. It's a really cool vibe, and they were us Aussies are warmly received over there. It's always really good. Matty Probes, how do we both think we can get the numbers back into Spartan and OCR races? Mate, I think the industry will naturally recover over time, providing race organisers keep putting on good events and innovating and making sure things are interesting, and picking good venues and just looking after races is the way to do it. It's a small industry. There's probably 1,000 maybe a couple thousand of dedicated races that will travel and do OCR, and then you've got your churn and burn people who will just sign up because of ads because they've seen their friends do it before. And I really think that core group of races is super important, and it's just the event organisers have to look after them, and then those people have to look after the event organisers, and build the community and get the vibe back to where it should be. What do you think, Jordi? You're pretty new to the sport.
Yeah, I think like with anything, just traction and word of mouth and
Yeah.
sharing with your friends and encouraging people to jump on board and yeah, just keeping the hype up within your own little community too. Like,
Sure.
I think most people are encouraged by seeing what their mates do and seeing what their people close to them are doing. And if they're having a good time, they're like, oh, I want to do that. So yeah, just keep your hype in your little space going.
Yeah. Talk as many new people into it as you can.
Yeah,
Angela letting me know that BTU is July.
very good.
Here we go. Matty Day, 110 kilometres, 4,400 metres vert up Nico, then to Gold Creek, up Cootha. So Mount Cootha's the big mountain, then off to KP. And
Yeah.
amazing views. I actually passed Matty Day. I was doing the 20K a couple of years back, and he was doing the 110. I think it was his first 110. And I passed him like 6Ks from the finish line, and he looked like an old hermit with like a walking stick. He was just fucking so broken. And we just ran past him like, "Are you okay, man?" And he was like talking in fucking tongues. It's a savage run.
Yeah,
But
holy dolly.
he's improved a lot since then too. So, are you going to do the 110 again, Matt? You fucking lunatic. He's a good dude. Jordi, anything else you want to go over while we're chatting? Is there anything you want to talk about or hype up or ask me or ask the people who are watching?
I should have prepared for this a little better in terms of what I wanted to ask.
I used to prepare. Now I don't. And that's so much more fun.
I planned to get up at midday today and then I fell back asleep until 2. I don't know. What? I'll ask you about your business, I
Sure.
suppose. What sort of the structure of what you run? Because I see you run like classes, and boot camp style stuff, but I also see you out at Raw heaps. So are you just sort of like hybrid across all of your types of coaching, or like what's your main focus?
Yeah. So what we do is we do custom programming for people, for the most part in OCR, so in obstacle course racing. So usually what it looks like with my clients and what I do is someone would say sign up with me. I've got guys on a ultra program for Ball. So let's talk about that. So Ball is coming up in about 16 weeks. I usually work in 12-week blocks, which is a good time for a fitness program. Usually I'd work out what somebody's goal is as far as what they want to achieve. Then I'd do something like a fitness assessment at the start. So what's their starting position? We're going to do things like squat test, bench press, deads. Basically, I'm going to find out exactly where they're starting. I know what their start position is. I know what their end position is, but in the middle of their program. Once I know what gear they have access to and how much time they've got, how many days a week can they train, whatever. I'm going to make a program completely customized to them, to their strength levels, and then we're going to coach them through it and make sure they stay on track. And different people need different things out of coaching. Some people need to be motivated to train. Some people I need to tell to stop fucking training.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
So, different people need different things. It's just about finding what each person's unique solution is. Monique, who was on with me, is my coach who works down in Sydney and keeps all my clients on track. And she's a age cat champion for her division as well. So she's a pretty handy Spartan racer. So she helps me with some stuff. We're going to dynamically adapt throughout the 12 weeks to keep people on track. Every 4 weeks we do fit tests. So that's basically the coaching, right, in a nutshell. what it is and how we do it. Everything goes through an app, so every exercise has got videos, all that type of stuff. The coaching came about because I got into the fitness industry and then got hooked on Spartan, and then realized that I couldn't leave my face-to-face business every week to go and race. So I'm like, and as I was getting into it, all of my face-to-face clients, and as you would know, anyone that is close to you sees what you're doing, and they're like, I want to fucking do that. When's the next race? I want to come and have a go. So you influence the people around you. So all my face-to-face clients, they started to get interested in OCR, and then all of a sudden we were traveling to race, and that was pretty cool. But eventually I ended up going online so that I could travel more and race. During COVID, I went back to a bit of face-to-face. As far as what I do down at Raw, I sort of do a little bit of everything. Like I try to do, I realized years ago that nobody was really handling any media in the space. So like, how do we grow the sport? Things like doing these podcasts, bringing athletes on, chatting. People are watching chats with you guys and getting to know who you are, and then they're seeing you at races, and it's exciting. It's exciting watching fucking savages get after it. So how do we build that community? I started live streaming events. So you'll see at Raw that I haven't done it for a year, or probably about a year, but I'll often jump in a buggy and keep with the elite racers and film and like live stream the whole thing. So I do that type of stuff, do before and after race interviews, post them, race reports, all that type of stuff. So that's sort of the media side of things. How do we actually grow the sport itself and grow the community? Then I do things like boot camps, and so what you see me doing at Raw a lot is like corporate days. So I actually Defence Force recruiting down there yesterday. So we had a heap of girls with Defence Force recruiting that were in the pipeline to get recruited in, and I went out there and created sort of a couple of hours where we got them to do some work non-verbally. So they have to have a couple of leaders that they nominated who took them through a certain workout without words, and then we blindfolded some of them, and they had to go through obstacles while people gave them verbal instructions. And I made them build some fucking stretchers out of some duct tape and rope and carry some people. And so we just sort of have that sort of stuff, all sort of mindset stuff. And then I'm going to push into the event space itself and actually bring races and endurance events. So I sort of do a little bit of everything.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I just live and breathe the sport. I really enjoy it. I've seen what it's done for people that have been in my life and clients that I've worked with. I went from helping people get abs and lose weight to changing them on a mindset level, and this is pretty fucking amazing. Like when you have a client, say that you've trained for a while, and then you get them to do something like a Spartan race, and you'll be getting them over a cargo net and they're fucking crying because they're scared of heights, or they have to crawl through a tunnel and they're claustrophobic and they're freaking the fuck out. And you get those guys to a finish line and they're broken, and it changes them and they level up. And then you 6 months later, you hear that same client tell you that they've left that fucking job that they hate, or they've left that bad relationship that they knew they shouldn't have been in. That resilience and that leveling them up at a mindset level, you see it just ripple out in their life. So I just got so fucking hooked to it, and I'm like, how can we accelerate this? How can we get more people to have these experiences?
That's so nice. And I am not a coach by any means, but I definitely share a lot of stuff on social media that people follow. And I think like the biggest thing for me that's so rewarding is just having people message you and say, I've been following this, it's so inspiring, or like you're a mom and you work and you do all of this. Like I realized that I have the time, or I can change this, or I can integrate that. And just having that little bit of influence on somebody's mindset or the way that they think about their own situation and what they prioritize or value. That honestly is the best feeling ever.
It's amazing. And I had somebody message me after UTA who he was a client for a couple of programs, and ended up finishing up with us, had a newborn, and just said, look, I've got to prioritize other things for a while, as I'm sure you can understand. and ended up finishing up. But then he did UTA, and he sent me a message, and he said, "Mate, thank you so much, for all the training and the support. Like you got me believing that I could do this fucking thing, and now I've done it, and I feel amazing." And I was like, man, can I share this on my story? Because you never know who you're inspiring. Like you never know. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what level you're at. Like I'm more inspired by the fucking guys who I see coming over a beast line 8 hours into a race and they're 150 kilos and they're
Yeah.
like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
those guys are amazing, and girls.
100%. Like even like at the UTA, so there's people doing the 50 coming over the finish line at, 9 o'clock at night or whatever, but they're like 60, 70 years old. And they just have ground out that 50Ks one step after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hectic.
Yeah, it's a really cool space, and I honestly believe that the more you sort of lean into it, if you keep doing it, you'll just see more and more of these stories, and you see the cool thing too. Once you've been around for a while, is you see people change. So you see the guys come in who are 120 kilos, and then 3 years later they're 70, and they're all of a sudden running a HCAT and they're killing it, and they've started that business they wanted to start and sorted their shit.
Yeah.
It's really transformative, and I think all sports do that. I think all sports subject us to difficulty and help you build resilience, and that helps you in real life. But I think obstacle racing is especially good at it. So yeah, it's really cool. The other thing that we do that I didn't mention is the Phuket, which we already spoke about. So I'm starting to take do curated holidays where we take groups of people and take them overseas with us, and that's cool.
Yeah, that looks so good, and I'd love to jump in on that in the future.
I'll keep you in the
Yeah.
loop. There'll definitely
Yeah.
be more. I did put your socials on screen, so if anyone does want to follow Jordi, she is always getting after it. She's always doing some cool shit on her stories. Follow the IG at Jordi Gunn, no spaces or underscores or any weird shit, just the letters.
Yeah.
Maddie Day.
Snap that handle up while I could.
Yeah. Maddie's saying miler in a few years, stick with 50s for now. Took 4 months recovery. Lots of donuts and cookies.
Yes.
Cool. Jordi, anything else you wanna add?
No, I don't think so. Not that it like springs to mind.
We're
Um,
through all our questions.
I don't know if I've got any. Wonder
Let me
if
know if you
any
do.
random people have messaged me.
Let me know if you do. I'll just bring up your Instagram. We'll just have a look at you standing on some podiums. Jordi on the podium of the Beast with Mon and Holly. Holly Richards. That's the name I was looking for.
Yeah.
Before. That's Jordi.
No, that's the combine.
On the Under Armour event. What was that one?
That was sick. So the structure of that is the same as the combine testing for the NFL.
Ah, cool.
So it is a combination of tests. I think it was 7 or 8, but anyway, vertical jump, agility test, 40-yard dash, 3-rep max bench press, a pull-ups to a cadence, a cognition reaction test,
Oh yeah.
and a beep test.
Yeah. Wow.
So the way that it's scored is however many athletes there are, the first place in each event gets 100 point, or however many people. So if there's 100 people, you get 100 points. If there's 60, you get 60, whatever. And then the second place is one less point than that. Third place is one less point than that, so on until you get down to one.
Yeah, right. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it's sort of scored like the CrossFit Games in that sense that it's just whoever gets the most points by the end of all 7 events is the winner.
Yeah, cool.
So it's like a test for an all-rounder.
That's mad.
Yeah. So I didn't win any outright events, but I came second in I think 3 of them, and then like 5th in 1 and 7th in 1. So like, yeah, you just kind of need to be
consistent.
consistent.
Yeah.
So you could win one, but then come like last in another, and that's not going to fare well in the end scoring.
Sure.
So
That's pretty
yeah, that was run by Under Armour, first one, and I'm sure they'll bring it back next year. They ran one in, I think, Malaysia, Singapore.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it
gonna,
was a sick day.
yeah, I'm gonna look into that. That sounds like a really cool event. Where'd they do that?
In Homebush.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was run really well, and the prize money was also great.
Prize money's good.
Yeah.
So Matty Probes just reminded me. So I don't know if you had a look at the podcast. So I used to do this all the time. So I think we got up to 50 or 60 episodes. Then we rebranded to Aussie OCR. But we used to do them all the fucking time. And then COVID stopped everything. But I did used to finish my podcasts with a race fail. So I'd always ask my guys, what is the funniest shit you've had go wrong?
I can easily answer this question
I
because
like
I've
that.
only had one race fail, and it sticks out very clear in my mind. It was my first Spartan race. It was in Sydney, the most recent Sydney one,
Rolling.
10K. Yep. And I ran in the wrong direction. And if you can find the video of my Garmin because I found like I got it,
Yeah,
but the arrows,
yeah.
I ran up a hill, down a hill, came to where I was meant to go straight, but instead I went right and I came back up the same hill
Oh.
and then back down and I passed the same people twice. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, oh no. I've gone. I think I did an extra like kilometer and a half, and I was like, okay, well, this is game over. Like it's done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I actually have a video of that GPS on my Instagram. Yeah, it was terrible.
How'd you go that race?
I don't know. I just left.
You're just like, fuck it.
I just came over the finish line. I was like, let's go.
Never speak of this again until Matt asks me
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's so bad. I should find it. I should find it for you so you can see it.
There was a race years ago. I'm trying to think when it was. It might have been Gold Coast in 2020, where the elites took off and they did the course fine, and then I think it was the first wave of the age cats took off, and the front runners misread the signs and went a certain way, and everyone followed.
Everybody.
Like,
yeah.
Hundreds of people, and it wasn't until I think there was the 40 or 50-year-old age cat come through, and then they went the right way. But it was a shit fight at the end because all these people podiumed, but they all cut the course, and it was a fucking mess. And I can't even remember how they solved it. But it was like, what do you do? Like, because the guy at the front made a mistake, but then everyone behind just follows the fucking leader, you know?
Yeah.
It was a shit fight. I can't even remember how that finished up. But David Rose saying, looking at first Ultra next year. Good work, man. Good work. It's sad.
Nice. I've got the video. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, for sure. If you can, it's there. Is that on your Insta?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Is that in your?
So, 5th of April. Let me just send it to you. Maybe that'll be better.
Yeah.
I'm sending it to you.
Mad.
So if you go through to the last slide on that post, you can just watch my little icon do the same lap twice. Yeah, I completely fucked that whole race.
We're here. Is that Peter? That is Peter. 50 fucking mo anyway. This
All right,
it?
here we go. Up the hill.
What app is this? Does Garmin do this?
Yep. Should have gone straight. Didn't. Went right. Up we go again. It's Strava.
Oh, Strava does that? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
At least you only did it once.
Oh, fuck.
Well, lesson learned.
Yes. Look at signs.
Plenty of the elites go the wrong way all the time. It happens like way more than you would think.
I'm glad.
Cool. That wasn't even really embarrassing. Next time you come on, I'll say hopefully you've got an even more embarrassing one, but I really hope you don't have a more embarrassing one. Some people just like to watch the world burn.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I could provide some laughter.
Always, Jordi. It's been amazing having a chat with you today. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for everyone who did stick around. Let me know in the comments or message me direct who you want me to chat to. I think I'm going to reach out to Scotty Cummings, who took out 3 podiums at Gold Coast. Oh, there we go. Matty Probes is saying, I remember they gave the elites a time penalty around went the wrong way. They did penalise a few people. Davina saying, amazing chat, thanks. Yeah, so a couple of people saying cheers for the chat. Yeah, so guys, send me a message, anyone you think I should chat to, and I'll organise that. You will be able to catch the replay of this chat. Obviously, this Facebook Live won't go anywhere, but also on the YouTube channel under Aussie OCR podcast playlist. The chat is there. All the old episodes, chat with Matt. Yeah, aside from that, Jordi, please stick around for a minute or two. We'll chat off air. Heaps of people saying thanks and great chat. So awesome.
Thank you.
Give Jordi a follow, guys, at Jordi Gunn. And see you guys next time.